Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Intuitive Living Eating RD podcast with me, Kathy Richards, registered dietitian. So, I did record a podcast earlier, and since I've done that in the last couple of hours, something's happened to my mic stand. So, you might notice I'm hanging on to my mic during this episode. I hope the sound quality is okay. So if you feel like you are a person who knows what you should be doing, but you just feel like you never do it, this episode is for you. Because today we're going to talk about rebuilding self-trust. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kathy Richards. I'm a registered dietitian with over 26 years of experience. And I help women in midlife learn how to listen to their bodies through intuitive eating so that they can enjoy life and enjoy food again. Because what's the point? All right. So, and I'm trying to avoid saying it's been a while because I always say that at the beginning. It's been a while, and it has. But this year I'm working on building self-trust with myself to show up on social media even when I'm tired, even when it feels like, it's one more thing to do, because it's really important to me. So I'm trying not to say like it's been a while and apologize. I'm just going to be human. I'm going to come on as I can. I'm trying to really commit to coming on and doing an episode weekly because I feel like there's a lot of content that I deliver every day with my clients and that you guys would benefit from the conversations that I'm having every day anyways. So stay tuned and keep your eye on this space. Okay, before we jump in, I want you to stop and take a deep breath with me, okay? Just one. So I'm going to want you to breathe in through your nose for a count of 4 to 5, hold for a count of 5 to 6, and then when you breathe out, I want you to breathe out everything. Okay, so I'm going to join you in this as well. So I can already feel my shoulders are a bit less near my ears after I do that. And the reason I wanted you to take a minute and ground is because this conversation doesn't need to be rushed when we talk about self-trust or rebuilding that, right? If you're here today, something in you is already listening. So I want to talk about self-trust, and not the kind we talk about on social media, but the real, lived, sometimes messy kind. The kind that shows up when you're tired, when you're making food choices, when you're parenting, when you're deciding whether to rest or push yourself. So I wanted to preface this with talking about why it matters to me to help you rebuild self-trust. This topic is personal for me too. And I see it every day in the women that I work with, and I'm a woman. And what I see again and again is not a lack of knowledge. We all know what we should be doing to move our health forward or to achieve whatever we're focused on. So it's not that we don't have the knowledge, it's a lack of trust. And, I see this everywhere. I see it when I'm on calls with clients. I also see it when I'm at the rink with my kids at sporting events. I had someone, sitting beside me one day eating, I don't know, some kind of baked good from Tim Hortons. And they said, "Oh, I know you're that intuitive eating dietitian, but I wanted to do that, but I just don't think I can." And then I had another person come in my DMs recently saying, "What is this? Can you tell me more?" So I offered them some tools and resources around intuitive eating. And then they came back after they watched them and they said, "Oh, I don't think I would trust myself. I would listen to what you said and then I would not do it anyways." And that's what tweaked me to say, like, this message is coming. I'm working with my somatic intuitive coach on trusting myself to do the things I say I want to do. And it falls into self-trust as well. So women who know what hunger feels like, but don't believe it, these are the women who need self-trust. The women who feel exhaustion, but they talk themselves out of resting, that's a lack of self-trust. The women who sense something isn't working, but they keep forcing it anyways, that's a lack of self-trust. And I lived in that space for years. I've been there. I lived in a horrible marriage because I got to a point where I had no self-trust. Like, I thought I was going crazy. I've come to learn a lot about narcissistic abuse in the meantime. There's been seasons in my life where I ignored my body because I thought it was easier to override it than to slow down and listen. Now, because I live with post-concussion syndrome, I can't really push my body like I used to, or it'll take me out for a day or two. You know, I'll have a stabbing pain in my eye, I'll get a migraine, I won't be able to be fully present with my kids. So those are all things that my body gives feedback, and I'm able to hear that now, and I'm able to trust my body. So when I'm talking about self-trust, I'm not talking to you or at you. I'm talking with you because I'm here. I'm here on this journey. Every day I'm working on self-trust, and it's a practice, right? It's not like someone can say, I don't trust myself not to eat that. And I say, oh, just, flip that switch and you can do it. It's a process over time. So what is self-trust? Actually, what is it? Self-trust isn't about getting it right. It's not about making perfect choices. It's not about never doubting yourself. Self-trust is a willingness to pause and ask, what do I need right now? And this is a question I've been working on for the last 5-6 years with my coach, like pausing in the day, pausing between client calls, pausing between kid pickup, and just really checking in with my body. Like, what do I need? Or just even doing a body scan. How does my body feel? Where do I feel that? What's that emotion? There's so many ways we can start to build self-trust. The hard part is being willing to take the answer that our body gives us seriously, right? So what do I need right now? Oh, I need some food, but I don't have time. Well, no. If I'm going to work on self-trust, I'm going to let myself eat something. My body says it's hungry, I'm going to eat. Or, my body says it would feel better if I stretched or I got up and moved. I'm going to take that time. If you look at the productivity research, actually getting up to move makes us more effective in our work, or actually taking that 5-minute, 7-minute walk, which I've been sharing on my stories a lot lately, that actually makes me more focused and concentrated when I get back to my desk. But it's so hard sometimes in the moment to self-trust ourselves, right? That we can take that time, or that's actually what our body is asking for. And when we think about the patriarchy or diet culture, it has taught us, so many things have taught us not to trust ourselves, right? So we need to take that answer seriously, even when it's not convenient, even when it goes against what you should do. And I want you to think about who's shoulding, where all the shouldings come from. Let's not should anymore. And even when it's different from yesterday. So I think as females that grew up in a society steeped in diet culture, and that skinny talk's coming back, unfortunately, if we use the diet, I have a lot of clients that will say they're on a meal plan, and it's like a guardrail, right? So they know if they're doing well, they follow the plan, they get to the end of the day, they might have hunger, but they're all done. They're all done their macros, so no more food. But when you actually start to trust your body and listen to it, our bodies, based on stress, sleep, mood, energy, like there's so many factors that affect our hunger from day to day. So to expect our body to need the exact same macro count every day is a little bit ridiculous. So when you're hungry, and I actually worked out a plan for a client recently who is going to bed hungry every night. It was a young man, he was hitting huge amounts of protein every day. He's hitting his macros, but he's hungry. Yeah, going to bed hungry can help us hang on to weight. So he's looking at getting the most out of his gym routine. He needs to listen to his body and fuel it. And that's where some of his recommendations came from. So how does self-trust get lost? Most of us didn't lose it because we failed. We lost it because we were taught to. We were taught to push. We were taught to override. We were taught to follow rules instead of signals. That might be a diet plan. We were taught to trust plans, programs, and productivity over our own bodies. So another example of not trusting yourself or not listening to your body would be not going to the washroom. Even when your body says, I need to go to the washroom, if we're delaying that, we're not building trust with our body. So slowly over time, we learn to second guess ourselves. So instead of listening inward, we look outward. So what do we look at? We look at the scale, we look at the plan, we look at the expert, we look at the expectations that's set by who knows who. And the longer that goes on, the quieter our own voice becomes. Not because it's gone, but because it hasn't been practiced. So I'll share a personal example about not using your voice or losing that self-trust, maybe is a better way to intro this. So for years I had my own house. I took care of maintenance. I took care of all that stuff. I had friends that would help me, but I knew how to do things. And then I moved into my marital home, and like the tap could have fallen off and water could be squirting everywhere. And I could say, there's a situation. And my ex would say, no, I don't see anything wrong. Like that was how crazy things were, where I felt like I had to yell to be heard, and I was never really acknowledged or heard. So much so that now I live in a rental property. I need my dryer to be fixed. I thought I fixed it last week, but I didn't. I need to call someone to say my dryer is broken. But there's been so many years of being told what you're saying is not true. No, it doesn't matter. You know, the wheel could fall off the car, and that's not true unless I saw it happen. That it takes a lot for me to reach out and make that phone call now because of how much my voice was quieted. So I want to talk about what changes when the self-trust returns, because I'm in this journey for the last 6 years of learning to trust myself again. So when we learn to trust our bodies, this is what happens. Here's what I want you to hear clearly. You don't need more discipline. You don't need more willpower. You don't need another plan. What you need is safety in your own body again. When self-trust starts to rebuild, things soften. So food becomes less dramatic, movement becomes more intuitive, rest feels allowed, decisions feel steadier. Not because life is easier, but because you're not fighting yourself again anymore. So imagine if food became food and it came more neutral, and imagine how it would feel if you could trust yourself. Like trust yourself that some days I'm just not going to go and push myself on a ski or whatever because my body needs rest. It's kind of magical. And it was these conversations that I'm always having with my clients that brought me to the place where I thought, oh, when that message came into my inbox saying, I can't trust myself to do what I know I need to do, even if you're telling me, well, I'm not going to do it. I thought, what could I do to support this person in seeing that they can make change? And out of that, I created the self-trust challenge. So it's not about changing your body. It's not about fixing your eating. It's not about becoming someone new. It's all about remembering how to listen. So over the challenge, it's going to be over 4 weeks. We're going to notice your body cues. So we'll spend a week looking at that. We'll spend time practicing small moments of trust. So I know that we're busy. Women in midlife are some of the busiest people on the planet. So the goal when I built this challenge out is to give us things we could do that would take less than 5 minutes. And most of them probably take less than a minute. But it's having that intentional time, 5 minutes out of our day, to rebuild that self-trust. We're going to be focused on letting go of self-judgment and rebuilding confidence in your own inner being, your own inner knowing. Okay, it's gentle work, and that's what makes it so powerful. We're not pushing ourselves. We're coming back to ourselves. So if something in you feels tired of forcing, if you're ready to stop outsourcing your trust, if you want to feel more grounded in your body and decisions, I'd love to invite you in. You don't need to do this perfect. You just need to show up. And we've got 30 days together. If you can't show up every day, don't make yourself wrong. Show up for the days that you can. Your body already knows the way. Let's start listening again together. That's all. Okay? So if this spoke to you and you want to join the Self-Trust Challenge, it's going to happen live on YouTube in the month of February 2026. I will mark each video day 1 and onward. Like I said, it's going to be short and sweet. I'll probably share the videos to Instagram and potentially TikTok. I'm not sure at this time. But I invite you to come and join us. It doesn't have to be for the whole challenge. It doesn't have to be every single day. But if you're ready to listen to your body and start to build that self-trust, I'm so happy to have you join us. And if you know someone who could benefit from this challenge, or if you want to share this challenge with someone that you love, send them this episode. It is January the 26th when I'm posting this, so we'll start on February the 1st. So there's lots of time to get ready. It's not going to require anything fancy. Just listen to me for that 5-minute activity. Like I said, most of them will be less. It's just to start with the process. All right. Thanks for listening. Feel free to share the episode. And if you have any questions, drop them below.